Jermaine Genius, he's crying. He's crying. Jermaine Genius is crying.
I hate in the game. I don't like
Then
it.
his arm goes upwards. It goes
No,
up.
no. No, we're not doing it.
The Offside Trap Podcast with Matt and Luke.
Hello and welcome back to the Offside Trap Podcast. And today I'm joined with Matty again, as always. Today I haven't told Matty what we're going to be discussing, which I thought would be a bit of fun. I know he's done this to me in the past, but I've got a few subjects that I want to discuss with you, Matty. I just want a raw reaction to them. They're nothing controversial, so don't worry, you're not going to get cancelled yet.
Yet, I love that. Okay, so
Yes.
so of the two of us, I'm the one that's going to get cancelled. That's not, no.
Well, I'm more likely to get cancelled than anyone with my opinions and stuff, but no.
All right. Well,
So
before you jump into that, mate, how was your weekend? At the end of the day, I haven't spoken to you since we actually last recorded.
I know, I've been busy trying to sort things out, had a few issues this weekend, but managed to sort it out. Looking forward to doing another podcast. Been trying to do a YouTube video, but just issues with that. But yeah, what about yourself?
Yeah, it was nice, mate. Got to see my parents, which was nice. I haven't seen them in a few months.
Good.
Did a lot of walking, but I mean, we went to this pub in Stroud called the Black Horse for dinner, and oh my god, the views from that! You walk into the beer garden and literally you've got the most picturesque view. Like, it's the best thing I've ever seen whilst I'm eating a burger and having a pint. It was great.
That's the best thing, having a nice view on, even when it's like slightly warm or a bit of a sunshine with a pint. Best thing. I've yet to been to a pub.
Have you not?
No, we're planning on going next week with a few of my work friends, but I haven't been to a pub yet.
Nice.
Can't wait for a nice cold pint.
Oh, honestly, mate, I didn't realise how much I missed cold pints until I went to the pub.
Yeah, there's nothing beating it. Nothing beating it.
But no, if you get the chance, mate, go over to the Black Horse pub in Stroud, because that view's worth it.
Maybe we'll do a live podcast there.
There we go.
So,
Right.
shall we jump into it?
Right,
So
go on, hit me with it.
The first subject, we've kind of discussed it. Mourinho going to Roma starting next season. What's your thoughts of that? Everyone's saying he's finished. What's your immediate reaction?
I actually want him to do really well. My immediate reaction was that's actually a really good fit. Obviously, he's revered in Italy. They love defensive football more than anything, really. And so it's funny that this is the first thing you asked me, because I was thinking about this earlier. I am actually going to miss Mourinho in the Premier League. The first stint at Chelsea, I could not stand him, and I think that was like a lot of people were the same. But
Arrogance.
yeah, but like he's just funny now, isn't he? Like you follow him on Instagram, and he cracks me up with it. Obviously, he's got that almost like unintentionally deludedness to him. I don't know. I'm just going to miss his press conferences. I'm going to miss him sort of getting riled really easily. I do think we saw one of the best managers of all time in Mourinho, and it is a shame that it's gone downhill so badly. But I think Roma's a very good fit, and I do think that he'll get at least top four. He'll get Champions League with them next season.
It's interesting, the Italian league, with Inter winning the Serie A, which beating Juventus in itself is a challenge. But to win it so convincingly as well, and then having Mourinho to try and compete with that now. He's not going to have the budget he's used to, though, I don't think.
He's not, no, but he's... Like, that Roma team is almost... It's almost like... it's perfect for him, because it's an ageing squad, so he can have his impact on it. He can get the players that he wants. Yes, all right, he's not going to be able to get the top-class players, but that's not going to matter, because he's going to be able to get players that he wants. And yeah, quickly just going back to Inter winning the Scudetto, I did find it quite poetic almost how 10 years ago Antonio Conte won the league with Juventus and set on a course of 9 years of dominance, and it's just poetic justice how Antonio Conte is the one to break that dominance with Inter Milan.
Yeah, it's a special achievement, I think, for Conte himself, and I think it's a special achievement for quite a lot of those players in that team, especially if you look at Lukaku and the hate he got when he was in the Premier League, when the last season he was at United, and then kind of proven he is a great striker, the likes of Eriksen as well.
Eriksen's done really well. I mean, Alexis Sanchez, Ashley Young. Ironic how Lukaku, Young, Sanchez and Darmian all leave Man United and win a title together at Inter Milan.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then you've got to think Chris Smalling and Mkhitaryan leave Man U to get away from Mourinho. And he's about to walk through the door saying, "What's up, Smalling?"
Yeah. But with Antonio Conte, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where does he rank in terms of managers for you? Because obviously, like you've got your sort of your general sort of like best in the world managers. Should he be in that conversation for you?
100%. 100%. He won the Premier League with Chelsea.
Yep.
He's won the Serie A with Inter when no one really expected them to do it.
But he's not done much in Europe.
No, that is the question marks against him. But league-wise, domestic-wise, he's probably one of the best managers you can get.
Yep.
Other than obviously Pep Guardiola and.
Okay, let's not go into that.
No, but that's maybe not on the same level. But that's my point. Is if you're looking for a manager to try and win something, he's probably the manager you go to in the low bracket managers.
No, definitely.
But
that's like he will. Yeah, he'll win you trophies, I think, and I think he needs to be. I think he deserves to be in that conversation of best managers in the world. He's up there with them. So
100%.
I'm just excited. I think it's just going to be exciting to see what happens next season. Will they keep the squad? B, will the squad achieve so much again, or will they actually go? Actually, no, we want to go deep into Europe. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Will Conte stay?
Conte will stay. Conte will stay. There's nowhere for him to go.
There is one place he could go, and I'd be very happy to welcome him there.
Chelsea 2.0, mate. Chelsea 2.0.
Yeah, I know we've had this conversation, but no. So the next, are we done with Mourinho? Have you got anything? This is a question I want to ask you about Mourinho. Is he done in the Premier League? Is there any return for him?
I never say never in football, but yeah, it would be tough for him. If a team gets bought out and has a lot of money, i.e., like the Newcastle was going to happen, I can see him doing that because let's say Newcastle get bought out and they are a super rich club, they're going to want to make a statement with their manager. So why not make the statement of Mourinho? But yeah, I mean, I'm just sad to see him go. If I'm honest, mate, I came to be quite fond of Mourinho and his antics and his I mean, his Instagram over the last month has been unreal. Like he's literally posted his CV and got a job.
Yeah, and a brilliant job as well. Roma have a lot of history, and I think he will lead them to a bit of success. I'm not going to say major success, but he will make them compete in Serie A.
He'll make them compete.
They're seventh now, aren't they?
Yeah, so he'll make them a competitive team again, definitely. Yeah. But yeah, in terms of Premier League, I really can't see it because, I mean, the only other traditional big club is going to be Arsenal that would take him.
Yeah,
but
yeah. So my next question was, and I had this question before the results of the Champions League. The final's being held in Istanbul.
Yep.
And there was a potential to have two English clubs in the final, which there is now, as the results of Chelsea and City winning. Should the competition be moved to a closer place, or maybe in England so both sets of fans can go, or is it right to be in Istanbul?
Tough one, mate. Because this was the argument when it was the Chelsea United final in Russia. Was it Russia?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and because they played, the kickoff wasn't until like 11 o'clock at night because it was like, right, well, it needs to match the the western part of Europe's time zone so people can watch it, and it's like, so why? Because like literally, like the penalty shootout took place at like 1 a.m.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know. It's a tough one because yes, you'll get more fans if it's in the country, but like in the interest of fairness and the fact that it's like everything's been built up for this final at Istanbul, I think it needs to stay there. And I think if a final location is set up, then and is announced, I think it needs to stay there. If anything, just for neutral. Well, actually, I don't even. But then you say that like. So Liverpool, let's say that this final does get moved to Wembley and we're not in a pandemic and fans can go.
Yep.
The fans will only get 30,000 of the 80,000 seats because the rest of it go to bloody sponsors, mate. So it doesn't make a difference. They're going to get the same amount of ticket allocations either way. It just means they've got to spend more to get there.
Yeah. It is a strange one because personally I think it should be held in the UK. Or
so
in a closer place.
would you say that the Liverpool Spurs final should have been held in the UK?
Yes, but that's a difficult thing where COVID isn't a factor. So it's one of those. If COVID wasn't such an issue and people could freely travel, then yeah, Istanbul would be fine. But because restrictions to go and travelling,
yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Surely it would make sense.
Yeah,
to
so
have it.
It would, yeah. So it would make sense because of COVID to have it in the UK, definitely. But then it's a case of, okay, where do you stage the final? Because if you stage it at Wembley, do Chelsea have an unfair advantage because it's in London? So where do you then stage it? Because unless you go to Millennium Stadium, or you go Hampden or something.
But so that was I had that question before going into the final because I looked at the clubs that was left, and I really couldn't see why not. And so it had me thinking, like, where would your dream final be? Where would you love to see Liverpool in a final? Where would you love to see it? And barring Anfield, like you could any stadium in the world.
Ooh. Is this to play? Does it matter who I'm facing?
Nope, doesn't matter who you can pick the team that you want.
I mean, if it's like dream stadium, dream game would be Borussia Dortmund at the Westfalenstadion because I want to see the yellow wall.
Yeah.
Like that is like that. I would love to do that. I would love to go because people always say to me, if you go and see Dortmund, why don't you want to be in the yellow wall? Well, what's the point in being in it? Because you can't see it.
Exactly.
So for me, like if I could pick the stadium, I could pick the team, it would be Dortmund at the Westfalen. In terms of actual just stadium, it's a choice of two. It's the Allianz in Munich.
Yep.
Or it's the San Siro.
Interesting. The San Siro is a beautiful stadium. So is Bayern Munich Stadium.
But the San Siro is more the fact that in 3 years' time it's not going to exist.
That baffles me. That really does baffle me.
It doesn't baffle me. I mean, it's at the end of the day, the stadium they want it like that stadium doesn't look like it's the age it is, but they want to revamp it. They want to make it new. Spurs did the same with White Hart Lane. Arsenal did the same with the Emirates. City did the same with Main Road and going to the Etihad. Everton are doing it. Everton are moving from Goodison to the Docks, and that's like the plans for that stadium look gorgeous.
It's right on the front of the.
Yeah, it's on the waterfront. It's on the honestly like that Dockland Stadium. That looks amazing.
Okay, so mine would be the Bernabeu. I think that's a beautiful stadium.
I don't know, but
you need a stadium with like a lot of atmosphere.
Okay. No, like 100%. No, you'd get that. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I'm not a big fan of the Bernabeu or the Nou Camp. I mean, happy to wait and see what the new Bernabeu looks like. If it's anything like the artist impressions, I'm still not going to like it, but...
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Okay, so
Actually,
moving on.
can I add a third spanner into the works?
Go on.
Don't know the name of the stadium, not in Europe, but Boca Juniors.
Okay, that stadium. That's all like it's like a dome and
Literally,
crazy.
Yeah. Like to be like actually, so basing on that, you can pick one derby in the world to go to. What derby do you go to?
See, mine would be Inter versus Milan. That would be up there for me. But you're obviously going to say Boca Juniors versus River
Boca
Plate,
Sao Paulo, isn't it?
Sao Paulo.
Or is it? Who is it? You know which one I mean.
Yeah. But that would be crazy. That's
Boca versus River Plate in the La Bombonera. Honestly,
and
like, that's just.
Or Galatasaray in their derby.
Oh
Now
yeah,
that looks scary.
Yeah. Or ironically, could go to Dundee.
So
Dundee versus Dundee United are the two. They're the closest stadiums in the world. They're literally either sides of a street.
So it's interesting you mentioned two Scottish teams. So let me guess. This is where I wanted your raw reaction. Scottish football. What's your opinion?
What's the point? No. Excuse me. Excuse me. Started stuck in my throat there. Right. Scottish football. It's
The reason why I ask this is because
outside of Rangers and Celtic,
yet again beat Celtic again this season.
No, I'd like to just correct you there, Luke. Rangers destroyed Celtic.
Oh, yeah, I was being polite. But
right. Scottish football without Rangers and Celtic, there is no Scottish. Okay, that's harsh, but there's no interest in Scottish football. Like, the only reason that Sky shows Scottish football, like, obviously when Rangers went to crap, and they sort of went into administration and everything, there was real worry about whether the TV deals for Scottish football would exist, because that TV deal was subject to 4 Old Firm derbies a year.
Yeah.
And obviously they weren't going to get that if Rangers were in the 3rd division or 4th division really of Scottish football.
Yeah.
So without Rangers and Celtic, there really isn't an interest in Scottish football at all. And if they moved to, the English League, Scottish football itself would cease to exist. Really, it would be a grassroots level.
Have you read my script or something?
Well, no, because I haven't read the script. I just assumed that because you mentioned Rangers and Celtic, the next point was going to be, do you think they should move into the English League? And I'm like, yeah, to the Championship, and that they can work their way into the Premier League. I don't think they deserve to go straight into the Prem.
Because Steven Gerrard said, I think it was last week or the week before, that Rangers would quite easily be in the top 6 in the Premier League.
Absolutely not.
I disagree with that.
Right, Rangers and Celtic usually can't get past the qualifying stages of the Champions League. Yes, all right, Rangers have done well in Europa League and gotten deeper into the competition, but that's not the norm. 15 years ago, when you had, like when Rangers had Nakamura, they had Henrik Larsson, you had Kenny Miller in his prime, you had all these good players in Scotland. Yeah, okay, you could maybe make the case for it then. Now, no. Scottish football, the Rangers team is pretty much made up of 80% youngsters that will move on, plus Alfredo Morelos, who will earn them quite a bit of money, and Jermaine Defoe, who is 47 years old and can run about 30 yards before he needs an inhaler.
Yeah, because I was trying to work this out when I was trying to come up with a few ideas to discuss with you today. It's like, where would they fit in? Because
Championship.
Yes, but who would you kick out? Because you can't just be like, okay, we're moving 2 clubs to the Championships, 2 clubs have to drop out.
All right, so you make it so that you knock an extra 2 teams out of League 2 or 2 team, and then into the National League. You expand the National League by 2 teams. Okay, because then that brings interest. and you have a knock-on effect, and then so Rangers and Celtic replace the bottom. So how was it? 3 go down from the Championship, don't they?
Yeah.
So and then so you have it in one season. Okay, the bottom 5 go down, and you have that knock-on effect throughout the leagues, and Rangers and Celtic replace those 2 teams.
Yeah, that could work. It's just it's an interesting thing that I don't ever want to see.
No, I think the idea of it is nice, but then it's like, Scottish football will cease to exist.
So I still have an issue of Wales, Cardiff and Swansea being in the
Well, yeah,
English
look at the
league.
state of the Welsh league. No
Yeah.
one really is bothered by it. You've literally got TNS that win it pretty much every year, barring some kind of freak.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I know what you mean. I also think Rangers and Celtic fans wouldn't want that to happen because they're not guaranteed a title fight every season.
Yeah. But it's just strange. So let's move on from Scottish football and let's delve into the Champions League again. So who's going to win it?
Chelsea.
You think Chelsea? That would be a remarkable story, wouldn't it?
So
Who's your-
I don't know whether you saw the thing that was circulating on Twitter yesterday, but it's just written that Chelsea will fluke their way to a Champions League win, and you can see Pep being stood there at full time, hands on his head, as Tuchel's played 8 at the back and just scored a fluky deflective goal.
It's from getting PSG to the final last season to them getting knocked out this season and being sacked by them, taking over at Chelsea, and then getting them to a final and getting them back into the top 4.
Yeah,
It's going to be a remarkable season for him.
It's this whole thing that Pep's he spent £1 billion on building a team to win a Champions League, and it's just like, I don't know, the football purist in me is just like, no, I don't want City to win it for the same reason that I don't really want PSG to win it, because it's not, they've bought it, and that's probably going to annoy a lot of City fans, but I don't
You
know.
can say the same about Chelsea though. In recent years, they've spent a lot more money than most.
They
Obviously
have,
not on the levels of
but-
Man City, but
No, they have spent money. They spent the most money in the previous summer window. But I don't feel like, I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I can see Chelsea winning it. Because I don't know. I just feel like it might be. Part of me still thinks the pressure might get to City.
do you reckon? Because I reckon, right, what a story it would be. Timo Werner scoring the only goal in the game and it literally just bouncing off the back of him or something. Something ridiculous where he's not even had a shot and it's just rebounded and it's hit him and it's gone in. And
Did you
Werner,
expect him to miss the one yesterday?
Yes. Honestly, I did not think he would score that.
I expected him to miss that as well, if I'm honest.
But I know you're going to do something on Werner. But
Yeah, there's something coming out on Werner with that one. But it is, yeah.
I would like City to win it just because I don't like Chelsea. But that's...
If City win it, what does Pep do? Does Pep go? Does Pep stay?
Depends what's in the pipeline, what's other clubs offering, who needs a manager.
Juventus?
Juventus, yeah. Imagine that. To be fair, right, you say that. If he wins the Champions League, Juventus sack Pirlo, Pep versus Mourinho again
Yep.
in the third league, I reckon that would interest him. I reckon that would interest him a lot.
Yeah,
Maybe
I think so.
they wouldn't have the financial powers that he's had previously at Barcelona, Bayern, and at City. So he would have to...
I don't know. I feel like he probably still would, because Juve aren't a poor club, and they do just hoover up all the talent. Yes, all right. They usually work on a different business model because they get players on frees and expensive contracts, and the the last couple of years we have seen them spend money and it's not really worked, i.e. the Ronaldo project. 100 million on Ronaldo and he hasn't got further than a last 16. But I think, Pep likes something where he's basically guaranteed a trophy every season. He had that at Barca, he had that at Bayern, he's had that at City. Where else is there to do that? All right, go to Juve or go to PSG. PSG aren't going to sack Poch even if he doesn't win the league, because I think they're buying into his project. So it's Juve, and the fact that Juve haven't won the Scudetto, they got knocked out in the last 16 of the Champions League. I can very much see Pirlo getting sacked, and Pep replacing him.
Yeah, definitely. That would be an interesting battle. I really think Roma versus Juve, Mourinho versus Pep, along with Conte as well. That would be
literally. Sorry, I'd be the one to watch next season, right?
Yeah, and especially because there'll be signings in that league. If I know we're talking ifs, but Pep goes there, he could potentially bring Aguero to Juventus. Things like that could happen.
Yeah,
I know he's been linked with Barcelona today. And
they've had talks and stuff. But then if Pep goes, because what is it, like Juve have got like another 40 million to pay on Morata or something. But if Pep goes to Juve, you sell a lot of the deadwood, so to speak.
Yep.
You know, I mean, you've got like their defense still relies on Bonucci and Chiellini, and they're both in their 30s.
Yep.
Same with Cuadrado, he's no spring chicken. So it is a refresh project. If they say to Pep, right, okay, you've got 300, 400 million, you flog these players that probably you don't need at the club anymore, you'll still get money for them.
Yep.
If you're at Juve with Ronaldo and you've got Pep there, is that enough of a draw to get Erling Haaland? Maybe.
Potentially. Yeah, it really depends.
Haaland to Juve confirmed. You heard it here first on the Offside Track podcast.
It's interesting you bring up Haaland because he's been the Borussia Dortmund head of football has said that he's not going anywhere, and if anyone's to go, it'd be Sancho.
Which that baffles me because Haaland's buyout clause comes into effect next summer. Yeah. So if you sell him now, you can make 100, 120, 130 million. Next summer, that goes down to 75.
Yeah.
I know he's a talisman, and he's a generational talent, which is a phrase that we keep using a lot at the minute. But why would you give up 60 to 70 million just to keep him for one more season?
Is it because they maybe look at there's no strikers out there that really take their fancy?
Doesn't matter. Keep the money for 12 months.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
If Haaland goes, because of this post-COVID market, if Haaland goes and they can get 130 million for him, the players you can get for 130 million, it makes it an absolute no-brainer. Even if you lose both of them, you can attract players to come over to you. You could, let's say, if you get rid of Sancho and you get rid of Haaland, you can get Leon Bailey from Leverkusen. You could probably convince him to move. Who else can you get? Strikers. Jesus Christ, you can convince someone like Danny Ings to go over there to replace Haaland. Yes, alright, the age isn't on their side, but if you can convince someone like Danny Ings to go over there, pull off a miracle and get Aguero to go there, and they'll do you for a season before, you can then reinvest the money from Haaland and then Sancho. That to me is a no-brainer. Why would you not do that?
Yeah, well, this is why we don't work in football and we only talk about football, because I'm sure there's some kind of theory behind it of why they want to do it. But
yeah, well, their theory's wrong.
Theory's wrong. So, I want to talk about, it's bugged me today. I don't know if you've seen that there's going to be fans allowed in the final game of the season.
Yeah, so they pushed back the end of the Premier League by 2 weeks so they can have each team gets one fixture with home fans.
Yep.
and we're going to have 500 away fans in each fixture, and that's not going to happen anymore.
So the reason why this has annoyed me, from a Spurs perspective, they have announced that it will be £60 to get a ticket, and
Right.
plus booking fees.
Right.
Bearing in mind the amount of controversy the club has gone through, and they're still trying to get fans to pay £60 when they've put them through the.
No, I get what you're saying. However, they're still a business. They haven't had crowds in the stadium for 18 months. They need money to survive at the end of the day, and like £60 is probably going to be the going rate for a ticket next season. So why do anything different? They need as much money as they can get.
Yeah.
It's better than them trying to charge like 70, 80 quid a ticket at the end of the day. Yes, it's including booking fees, but that's football, mate. At the end of the day, if like going to a Premier League game now is, if me and you went to a Premier League game, let's say we went to a Villa game, easily we're over £100 each.
Yep.
And that's probably before we even get to the stadium.
Yep.
You know, with our cost of travel, obviously, you know, the food, drink, you go there, you're going to get a programme because you always do, you know. So football ain't cheap anymore. Football ain't accessible for the masses.
Yeah, it's strange because you look at the amount of money that these people earn, and you'd have thought they might be a bit lenient to get some fans in. And I know what you've said is they've missed out on revenue, but this is one game. It's the perfect opportunity to give out cheap tickets, just give something back to the fans, get them on the side after the whole ESL, I forgot what it's called.
Yeah, but this is Daniel Levy, mate. He didn't give anything to no one.
Yeah, exactly. Apparently, so talking about the Super League again, the United versus Liverpool game, were you disappointed that it was called off?
Yeah, because I like watching football. I don't know. I was watching it all unfold, and I didn't really know how to feel. Like, I get protesting against the owners. I get that, especially with United, who have been through hell with these guys.
Yep.
But you need to all get behind one cause, one purpose, and breaking into a stadium, whether or not they broke in or they were allowed in, that doesn't matter. Like, that was just like a small section of the fans that did that, and they ruined it for everyone.
It's interesting to see that, like, how Sky were reporting it.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, because it affects them, it was a bad thing, but because they
exactly my point.
But Gary Neville was telling people to go out and protest with the ESL. He was telling people to go out and do that, but the second they do that and it affects Sky, this is what I was saying with when I did the video. It was like, this is it. Everyone's got an agenda. It's what works best for them, and the ESL didn't
100%.
work best for Sky. It didn't work best for UEFA, so they were like, no, we can't have this. But so go out and protest. But then the protest happens and a game gets called off, and Sky can't show the game. Oh no, don't do that. What, these guys are hooligans.
Literally. They're like Graham Souness is saying, like, you need
how
to,
he's still on TV baffles me, mate. Like, he does my head in.
Like he's one of the only, like, he was going on about how the beer can was choked him that could have killed someone. He's the person that sprinted onto the pitch and put a flag in the middle of the Galatasaray Stadium, and you're telling me he's scared of a beer can?
I know, but what is he doing on TV still? He brings nothing to punditry anymore.
It proved like how little he really knows, but not knows how.
Oh no, he doesn't. Mate, he knows nothing. He's so out of touch with football. He hasn't had a managerial role in over a decade. If someone fact check that and I'm wrong, I do apologise. But yeah, he's at least with the guys they get on there, like Carragher, Neville. Yes, right, they haven't really been involved in the game. Neville owns a club, but yeah. But they have such a level of expertise, and they have good banter. I'll watch that. Micah Richards has only just recently retired. I'll watch that. Roy Keane has been involved in management recently, and I'll watch that. or these guys like Henri, recently retired, management. Souness hasn't played since the early 90s, so we're talking 30 years ago. He hasn't managed since the mid-noughties, so we're talking 15 years ago. What the heck is he still doing on TV?
He's not in touch with it. There's some of the stuff he says as well. I have question marks, but it just proves when they have to fill time and fill space, they can't do it. They cannot do it. They break under the pressure. Fair play, Gary Neville and Roy Keane kind of said their piece, and because it was Man United, it was their club, so they had an opinion on it. But Graham Souness, literally, he struggled so much with just making the simple points. And then when he made points, I disagreed with them. But I did enjoy the Twitter banter of all these fans on the pitch. What's Paul Pogba doing? He should be doing more to stop this.
Yeah,
I did enjoy those. But,
so what's your thoughts on the actual protest then, and like the game getting cancelled? Because obviously I was disappointed because I wanted to see my team play.
Yep.
And I felt like the stadium invasion was not the right thing to do. So I don't know what your thoughts on that were.
I think with the protest, yes, do that. I'm all for that. Peaceful protesting, go for it. When it starts to get, and I know it's been mentioned several times, any protest, there's always going to be one or two idiots that ruin it for everyone.
Yep.
But as soon as you then break into somebody's property, Old Trafford is property.
Yep.
So you're trespassing because you're not supposed to be in there. That's when you start crossing the line. And that's when I start getting irritated because you're putting people in danger, whether it's players, whether it's stewards, whether it's like canteen people or just the media there. You're putting them in danger because there's no security to stop you because you're not supposed to be in there. And then it's, especially in the fact that it's dangerous and like for the safety of everyone going in there because you don't know what's going to happen. That just proves you can get into anywhere.
Literally. Yeah. No, it was like that, mate. But then did you see Avi Glazer basically wouldn't apologise for it? Wouldn't apologise for the Super League?
He's a joke in himself.
Well, the whole family is, mate.
But the whole business regime of most football clubs are a joke, Daniel Levy included. The fact that
it's because they're not seen as football clubs. They're seen as brands, and it's what is good for the brand.
Yeah.
I don't know, mate. I don't know.
But hopefully the games will go ahead. I don't know if there'll be any fines or bans.
Well, what is it? So United fans aren't happy now because the Liverpool game got rearranged for the 13th, I think.
Something like that.
So was it a week? I can't remember. Or they got rearranged for the 15th, I think, or something. I don't even know. But basically, United are playing. It was rearranged for the 13th. They're basically playing 4 games in 7 days.
Yeah, well, that's the fans' fault. No offence to. They did that. As soon as they went on the pitch, that you're in danger in the games of being called off because they're trying to work out how they got in, and it's safety.
Well, I think it was as soon as they got into the stadium, it was like, right, okay, have they breached COVID bubbles? Which if they had, well, that's what they did. Yeah, But
it'd be interesting to see what happens because I can't see it going down because I know there's going to be protests for the final home game at White Hart Lane. I don't know what kind of protest there'll be. I don't know if Arsenal will continue to protest after their previous one. Same with Liverpool. It's all up in the air, so it'll be interesting to see. And the final point I wanted to make, just to end on like a positive note, that I wanted to just thank everyone for the support we've had on YouTube recently because Matty and I are quite new to the YouTube game and putting our faces out there is something that for me, I don't know about you, Matty, it took a lot of courage for because I'm very self-conscious about myself anyway. So putting my face out there and especially putting our opinions out there because everyone's going to have a different opinion to you. And I found that a lot of people have been supportive, which I really appreciate. But I don't know if you wanted to say anything on that line.
Yeah,
mate.
no, it's just been nice to see the support we've had from people, and it's all been sort of received well. So people clearly are enjoying it, and yeah, it just means a lot for this. I mean, it also means that I get to buy nice things like this little mic arm, because I was there leaning over my mic last time, and my back was killing me. So I was like, oh, I'm going to buy one of these. So it means I get to spend money. So thank you.
But yeah, we are planning on doing a lot of things. We've got a lot of things planned. So hopefully you bear with us and continue to support us, which I think you will.
Yep.
But yeah,
obviously the podcast will be on YouTube. It's still going to be available on all the streaming apps as well.
We just saw that. You could see our beautiful faces.
Well, speak for yourself.
Well, his. Ooh. That was cute of me. But yeah, so what topics have we got planned for like next few podcasts, Matty? Have you got anything that you want to discuss?
I think obviously with the season wrapping up, I think we need to do a review grading teams. Like the old school reviews, like A to F.
Yeah.
Obviously, if anything controversial happens in football, we will talk about it.
I'm sure it will. We've got 4 weeks left. Something's bound to happen.
Yeah. Obviously, look at transfers. I don't know. This is the thing, mate. When we do these podcasts, it is very much we talk about. We either have a set topic or we talk about what's happened in the last week.
Either.
Yeah. Actually, we need to talk about Team of the Year as well.
Ooh.
So, FIFA players, Team of the Year. Did you see that?
I've seen like one or two of them, but I haven't seen the full list.
Okay, well we can have a chat about that as well. Probably should. Yeah.
Do that on its own its own separate thing.
Yeah, definitely. Can look forward to the Euros as well, because we've got football back in the summer. It's not going to be too long.
So yeah, I've got lots of things planned. I'm looking forward to the Euros too, and maybe do some like live reactions to the England games.
Yeah.
Or
is there anything better than summer tournament football where there's 3 games a day? Like literally, it is the best thing in the world when there's 3 games of football every day for 2 weeks.
Oh, exactly that. And we could play, if England score, we drink, and just do a shot every time.
Okay, we can
do a drunk stream.
That would be funny.
Give me alcohol.
God, let's just hope we don't have a repeat at the pub.
The Liverpool. We've told that story on this podcast before, haven't we?
I think it's been mentioned, yeah.
So if anyone doesn't know, I'm sure you do. A few years ago, Tottenham versus Liverpool were on, obviously. Matt is a Liverpool fan, I'm a Spurs fan. We thought, we finished work early together. This was when we used to work together. Let's go to the local pub. Bearing in mind, I didn't eat anything the whole day. We get there, we're just drinking, having a good old chat.
Actually, I blame Gillett because he was the one that was buying the Jaeger bombs.
Yeah. I was only recently 18 at this point, or 19, one of the two. So I was new to the whole drinking game. And because I didn't line my stomach, it got to... Did the game even finish? Or
No, it was about 60 minutes in.
About 60 minutes in, and I just spew everywhere. And I was sick on the table, the chair, the floor, and then I just remember getting in a lift home with one of your friends.
It wasn't... No. It wasn't my friend. It was my ex-girlfriend.
See, I just remember just apologising, I'm sorry, sorry, as my head's sticking out the window, I'm sorry. And then...
It was, I had to call my ex, because she was the only person I knew in town that had a car. So I had to call my ex and say, can you come pick us up, because my mate needs to go home.
No taxi would accept me, I was a mess. But yeah. That's a funny story. I'm sure we've got many funny stories that probably aren't, if I don't want to get cancelled, I probably shouldn't say on here. But yeah. Hope you enjoyed this episode. We've been Matt and Luke. We've been the Offside Trap podcast. Get in touch with us on Twitter, Facebook, anywhere, directly. I don't care.
Just send us DMs so we feel popular.
Exactly. Spam my phone, because no one spams it. So yeah, enjoy, stay safe, and goodbye.